Hello everyone, welcome to Cartoon Investigation. Today we're exploring one of the most chilling fan theories about Nickelodeon's animated series, The Loud House. Prepare to see this seemingly innocent show in an entirely new light as we dive into the haunting Phantom House theory. The Loud House appears to be a lighthearted show about Lincoln Loud, an 11-year-old boy living with his 10 sisters in a chaotic household. But beneath this cheerful veneer lies a potentially devastating truth. Lincoln Loud may be the sole survivor of a series of tragic events that claimed his entire family. What we witness throughout the series isn't reality, but rather Lincoln's elaborate psychological construct, a world he's created to escape the unbearable truth of his solitude. The theory suggests that the Loud House itself stands as a memorial to Lincoln's lost family. Each room, each quirk of the house, each routine and ritual serves as a vessel for preserving memories of sisters who no longer exist in the physical world. The crowded hallways, the bathroom queue, the noise complaints, all are phantoms of a happier time that Lincoln refuses to relinquish. According to this theory, each sister represents not just a person Lincoln has lost, but also embodies the circumstances of their departure and Lincoln's complicated feelings about their absence. Lori, the eldest sister, perished in a devastating car accident shortly after receiving her driver's license. The authority she wielded in life has been amplified in Lincoln's imagination, transforming her into an almost tyrannical figure who constantly barks orders and monopolizes the family phone. Her obsession with her boyfriend Bobby serves as Lincoln's way of preserving the relationship that was cut short by her untimely death. When Lincoln occasionally resents Lori's bossy nature, he's actually processing unresolved anger about her leaving him through what he perceives as her carelessness behind the wheel. Lenny's death came from something as innocent as her passion for fashion, an allergic reaction to a new fabric treatment or cosmetic that she didn't recognize as dangerous. Lincoln's portrayal of her as beautiful but intellectually challenged reflects his struggle to reconcile how someone could be taken by something so preventable. Her sweetness and kindness in his fabricated reality compensate for the bitter unfairness of her loss. The moments when Lenny shows surprising wisdom represent Lincoln's fleeting acknowledgement that his sister was more than the simplified memory he usually allows himself to recall. Luna's vibrant spirit was extinguished during her first significant performance when a venue fire claimed her life along with several other aspiring musicians. The tragedy received local news coverage that deeply traumatized Lincoln, explaining why he imagines her constantly performing at maximum volume. He's desperately trying to keep her music from being silenced by death. Her British accent affectation represents how Lincoln perceives that she was becoming someone new, someone with a future that was violently truncated before it could fully form. Luan's comedic aspirations ended in tragedy during an April Fool's performance when a practical joke involving stage props went catastrophically wrong. The fall that took her life haunts Lincoln, manifesting in his imagination as increasingly elaborate and sometimes dangerous pranks, his subconscious repeatedly returning to the moment everything went wrong, wondering if someone could have prevented it. Her puns, which often elicit groans from the family, represent Lincoln's complicated relationship with humor after it became intertwined with profound loss. Lynn's fierce competitiveness proved fatal during a high-stakes championship game. Pushing herself beyond human endurance, she suffered a catastrophic injury on the field that medical personnel couldn't address in time. Lincoln's portrayal of her as sometimes bullying and hyper-aggressive stems from his unprocessed anger that she valued winning over her own safety. When she forces Lincoln to participate in sports, it represents his guilt that he never fully supported her passion while she was alive. Lucy, already fascinated by the macabre in life, passed away silently in her sleep due to an undiagnosed congenital heart condition, a cruel irony for someone so obsessed with the poeticism of death rather than its reality. Lincoln imagines her as perpetually materializing from nowhere because her death came with no warning, no opportunity for goodbyes. Her pallor and dark clothing represent the funeral that Lincoln can't stop reliving in his mind. Her poetry serves as the words Lincoln wishes he could have said before she was gone. The twins, Lana and Lola, perished together in a house fire that started in their bedroom while the family slept. Lincoln, who survived by escaping through his window, carries tremendous survivor's guilt about the twins, which manifests in how dramatically different he imagines them to be, as if trying to create two distinct people from increasingly fading memories of two young sisters who were still developing their identities. Lana's comfort with filth represents the ash and soot of the fire, while Lola's obsession with pristine appearance represents Lincoln's wish to restore what was damaged. Lisa's brilliance proved to be her undoing when a home experiment involving volatile chemicals resulted in an explosion that took her life and caused significant damage to the house. Lincoln processes this loss by imagining her as detached and coldly scientific, unable to connect with human emotions, a coping mechanism that helps him deal with the senselessness of a death caused by the very intelligence that made Lisa special. Her experiments in Lincoln's imagination often threaten the safety of the household, reflecting his subconscious understanding of what actually happened. Baby Lily's death from sudden infant death syndrome represents perhaps the most senseless loss of all, one with no explanation, no cause to rage against. By keeping Lily perpetually in infancy within his imaginary world, Lincoln preserves her exactly as she was, never allowing her to age as a defense against the briefness of her existence. The family's collective doting on Lily in his imagination reflects the special place the youngest Loud held in their hearts during her short life. The house itself, in Lincoln's imagination, has become impossibly accommodating of 11 children, an architectural manifestation of his refusal to accept his solitude. The converted linen closet that serves as his bedroom represents how Lincoln feels marginalized by his grief, pushed aside by the overwhelming presence of memories that occupy the actual bedroom surrounding him. His parents appear only partially in most episodes, faceless voices, legs walking by, arms reaching in, because they too have become fragmented in the aftermath of losing nearly all their children. In reality, they may be present physically but absent emotionally, devastated by grief and unable to connect with their only remaining child, who increasingly retreats into his elaborate fantasy world, Shual. When real-world elements occasionally intrude on Lincoln's fantasy, a leaking roof, a broken appliance, bills piling up, they represent moments when reality temporarily pierces the veil of his creation. These intrusions are quickly absorbed into the fantasy as adventures or challenges for the imaginary family to overcome together rather than what they truly are. Signs of neglect in a household shattered by loss. Lincoln's distinctive white hair, unique among his brown-haired family members, serves as physical evidence of his trauma, similar to cases of Marie Antoinette syndrome for Syrah, where extreme shock can cause rapid loss of pigmentation in hair. Lincoln's snowy locks are a somatic manifestation of witnessing unimaginable tragedy at a young age. In his mind, however, it's simply a quirky genetic anomaly that makes him special. A more bearable explanation than the truth. His habit of breaking the fourth wall takes on a disturbing dimension in this theory. When Lincoln speaks directly to the audience explaining his strategies for surviving in a house full of sisters, he may actually be speaking to therapists, social workers, or perhaps just to himself, narrating the rules of his imaginary world to reinforce its reality and keep the truth at bay. The Phantom House theory transforms the Loud House from a comedy about surviving chaos into a tragedy about creating chaos to survive. Lincoln's elaborate fantasy serves not as a delusion, but as a sophisticated psychological survival mechanism, one that allows a shattered child to continue functioning in a world that has taken everything from him. Each episode's resolution, typically ending with affirmed family bonds despite the conflicts that drove the plot, represents Lincoln's desperate need to believe that love persists beyond death, that the connections between siblings cannot be severed even by the ultimate separation. The fantasy isn't just about denying that his sisters are gone, it's about preserving what they taught him, how they loved him, and the person he was when they were alive. In the Phantom House that exists only in Lincoln's mind, 11 children will forever remain frozen in time, arguing, laughing, growing, and loving in an eternal present that shields one devastated boy from an unbearable past and an unimaginable future. The real haunting in this theory isn't by ghosts in the traditional sense, but by memories so vivid, so necessary to survival, that they've taken on lives of their own in the mind of the sole survivor who cannot bear to let them rest. This is Cartoon Investigation, where we peel back the colorful layers of your favorite shows to reveal the darkness that might lurk beneath. Until next time, keep questioning the stories you thought you knew.